What's up, everybody? Jerry Lodovico. Let's see, it's around 5:30 p.m. It's cold and wintry out. But listen, I want to go over some things. This video is going to be a little longer than I normally do, so stay with me. It's worthwhile listening to, especially if you're in sales. And it has a lot to do with planning, and it has a lot to do with how to really go about putting yourself into motion in a way that's proper, in a way that's going to be really effective for you. Now, see, one of the most powerful things that people say you need to have if you want to achieve a goal is the why. I've heard the why that makes you cry, and a lot of people say things, well, I want to spend more time with my family. I want to do well for my family. That's a good thing. I want to do well for my church. I want to do well for my community, for charity, whatever the case may be. I want a jet. I want a mansion. Whatever. It's all good. I got no problems with any of that. But those whys are really based upon externals. Even if you're basing it on your family, it's still an external. The why that comes from within, that is truly the animator of your power, that is truly the animator of the infinite font of wisdom that exists deep within you, that's the why that I want to drill down to, okay? And that particular why has to do with one thing. And it's actually one thing in two words: reasonability and believability. I heard one of the gurus, Andy Elliott, say one time, people don't do what they say they're going to do because they don't believe in what they say they're going to do. And that's the biggest problem with sales professionals, especially those that need to prospect for a living. And in my opinion, that's every sales professional, period. So, the very first thing in my mind that I need to do when I'm planning is I need to develop a strong sense of reasonability and believability in my own mind, in my own heart, and in my own soul. And this brings me back to the 4 C's. The 4 C's of 9G velocity. The 4 C's of quantum parabolic sales mastery. Clarity. Am I absolutely clear on what it is that I want to accomplish within the time duration that I want to accomplish it? Am I absolutely clear on it? Yes. Okay. Now, certainty. Now, how do I develop certainty in my mind that it's possible? Well, I have to go to the numbers. So I have to determine if it's mathematically reasonable, relevant to whatever conversion ratios that I'm using as my constants. Like when I make a cold call, relevant to cold calls, how many of those will convert into what I refer to as LPs, or legitimate prospects? From legitimate prospects, how many will convert into legitimate leads? And then legitimate leads, how many will convert into hot leads? And hot leads, how many will convert into actual client acquisitions? Well, in my mind, I've gone from a level that was lower in the earlier years of my career, but now I'm so good at prospecting, not patting myself on the back, but I am. I'm very good at prospecting, especially cold. So from literally cold call to absolutely legitimate lead, not legitimate prospect, legitimate lead. From my first cold call to legitimate lead, my conversion ratio is 54%. From legitimate lead to hot lead, my conversion ratio is 63%. And from hot lead to client acquisition, my conversion ratio is 72%. That's where I'm at. Now, based on the goal that I want to hit, okay, I figured out that I need to do, originally I thought it was 54. It wasn't. I redid the math yesterday. I have to do 45 prospecting calls per day, 5 days a week, for the next 3 weeks to hit the target that I want to hit. Now, the target that I want to hit isn't the actual client acquisition. It's the pipeline of client acquisitions, okay, because it takes time for me to actually bring the sale all the way through to completion. Okay, and 99.9% of those go through to completion. Occasionally something falls out, but you know what, you're going to have that. But that's what numbers are for. It's predictability in your own mind that goes to your consistency, that goes to your discipline, that goes to what you believe to be reasonable and what you believe to be believable. Reasonable and believable. Because if it's reasonable to you and if it's believable to you, you're going to do it. So that's where the certainty comes in. So now that it's reasonable and believable to you, and you've also done it to a certain level, maybe not quite as high a level, your confidence level should be relatively high. And then, of course, if your confidence level was high, your certitude level will be equally as high as your confidence level. You will implement resolve or will to the degree that you are confident that you can do something. So that's the 4 C's: clarity, certainty, confidence, and certitude. We're going to keep going back to that repeatedly. So now, what I did was I have a metric that I created, and my metric is 9G. And I'll explain 9G to you down the road, but level 9G is the highest level. Level 1G is the lowest level, obviously. Now, my clarity level is at level 9G. My certainty level is at level 9G. My confidence level, because the last 3 weeks I only did 27 a day, now I got to beef it up to 45 a day, I'm not so sure, right? But my confidence level isn't low, but it's about a 6.3. And my certitude level, my resolve, is merely a mean average of the first 3 levels. So you add up 9 and 9 and 18 and 6.3. That's 24.3 divided by 3. So my certitude level is at a level 8.1. So the reasonability of me actually accomplishing this and making it happen, in my mind, reasonably, mathematically, believably, it's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I am excited to do 45 calls a day. 6 months ago, the thought of doing 45 in-person walkthroughs per day made me sick. I needed to take a nap just thinking about it. But now I'm ready to do it. Hey, I did 27. I can double that. I can double that number. I can absolutely double that number. Okay, and 45 isn't quite double that number. That's 54. So I know that I'm going to be able to get there. So now I've got a clarity, certainty, confidence, and certitude level that are extremely high. And by the way, once I pull this off, and regardless of whether or not I hit my projected target financially, that's inconsequential. What's consequential is, did I do exactly what I set out to do, or pretty damn close to it? And see, that goes to the development, okay? And see, here's where the real power comes in. Everybody thinks it's the highly skilled, highly savvy sales rep that's successful. That's not it, man. It's that energy. See, we're going to talk about this tomorrow in depth. But we were taught that sales is a numbers game. Predictably. Mathematically predictable game. That's the biggest lie and misleading bullshit I have ever heard in my entire life, because it's not predictable. Sales is a game of probability. It's the linear metrics, mathematical predictability, cause and effect that lead us into the field of probability. But baby, once you get into that field, it's called energy. It's energy that determines whether or not you make the sale or you don't. It's that energy that you are able to feel, that you're able to taste and smell deep within yourself, and be able to master that and if you will, like a golfer, shape that into the direction that serves you. It gives you power, real power. People feel it. You don't have to speak it. You don't have to say it. They just feel it. They know when you walk through the door. But also at the same time being able to be highly sensitive to the energies of whom you're interacting with. And you see, it's that energetic exchange that determines whether or not they love you or whether or not they don't like you. So if they love you, they're going to buy. See, you're not going to sell. They're going to buy. That's why teaching closing techniques to me are a joke. Are they important? Yeah. But this constant focus on closing techniques, it's ridiculous. You think by some magic convolution of the words that you're going to convince somebody to buy? You may pressure them into it. But that's not what I call building a client. That's what I call jamming somebody. So at the end of the day, what you need to do is you need to have yourself totally intact in here and in here. It needs to be believable to you. It needs to be reasonable to you. It needs to be clear to you, certain to you. You need to be confident of yourself. And to the degree that you're confident is the degree of resolve that you will execute on a daily basis. Then every word that you speak, every move that you make, every action that you take, if you're highly acuity sensitive to the energetic forces within yourself and also within that field of probabilities as you interact with other people in the course of your day. Oh, now you're on your way to mastery. You're on your way to 9G velocity. You're on your way to 9G quantum parabolic sales mastery. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, of that I am absolutely certain. Stay well. Have an awesome kick-ass day.